This is part 2 of Federalist number 13. It is important that you all take a look at Federalist number 12. It complements this. It's going to talk about economy. In number 12, it talked about the importance of revenue and commerce, or commerce for revenue. Since they're going to be commercial states, says that it's important that if we unite, this way we will get enough revenue, enough money for the federal union, for the government of the federal union. Now here in this Federalist, it's going to say, if we stay a union, if we stay united, there's so much money that we don't have to waste, because there are so many things that one government can do that you wouldn't need 13 governments to do. So that's what he's going to talk about. The first paragraph is pretty long, so we got halfway through it. Let me start with the sentence, "This idea admits not of a precise demonstration, because there is no rule by which we can measure the momentum of civil power necessary to the government of any given number of individuals. But when we consider that the island of Britain, nearly commensurate with each of the supposed confederacies, contains about 8 millions of people, and when so large a society to the public good," maybe I'm sorry, I missed the line. "And when we reflect upon the degree of authority required to direct the passions of so large a society to the public good, we shall see no reason to doubt that the like portion of power would be sufficient to perform the same task in a society far more numerous. Civil power, properly organized and exerted, is capable of diffusing its force to a very great extent, and can in a manner reproduce itself in every part of a great empire by a judicious arrangement of subordinate institutions." Okay, remember, he said there are some people that want to divide us into 3 confederacies. One Southern Confederacy, one Middle Confederacy, and one in the Northeast, over here, New England states. And he says each one of these 3 parts, as far as the area of the land goes, they are a little larger than Britain. And he says sometimes when a country gets to a certain when a country gets so big, okay, if you are knowledgeable about what's going on inside the country, what the lay of the land is like, what the land looks like, where is an agricultural area, where is good for raising cattle, where is good for animals, you can pretty much do a good job figuring out how much it's going to cost you to run the government, and you don't need thousands and thousands of civilians working for the government. He says, look at Britain. The population right now is 8 million. Okay, remember, population of the 13 colonies combined was around 3 million. So almost close to 4 million actually by 1790. But he says, look, population of Britain is 8 million. And comparing it to each one of these confederacies, and you can kind of figure out that if we do a good job and plan well, we can actually, with a limited number of people, do what Britain does. Find out exactly what our land looks like and plan our economy accordingly, and at the same time not hire too many people to work for the government, because that would be a waste of money. All the extra employees that you would have to hire if you had 3 confederacies or 13 countries, it would be unbelievably high. And that doesn't make sense. So we need to stay united and save money. Act economically, okay? Think economically what's good for us. Then I'll go to the next paragraph. The supposition that each confederacy into which the states would be likely to be divided would require a government not less comprehensive than the one proposed will be strengthened by another supposition, more probable than that which presents us with 3 confederacies as the alternative to a general union. If we attend carefully to geographical and commercial considerations in conjunction with the habits and prejudices of different states, we shall be led to conclude that in case of disunion, they will most naturally league themselves under 2 governments. The 4 eastern states, from all the causes that form the links of national sympathy and connection, may with certainty be expected to unite. New York, situated as she is, would never be unwise enough to oppose a feeble and unsupported flank to the weight of that confederacy. There are other obvious reasons that would facilitate her accession to it. New Jersey is too small a state to think of being a frontier in opposition to this still more powerful combination, nor do there appear to be any obstacles to her admission into it. So because this is related, I just read quite a few lines for you. He says, these 3 confederacies that some people want us to divide to, sometimes they even talk of only 2 areas. He says we can see that the northern states are going to unite together, okay, because of their way of life, their sympathy, their economy, the way they've been in trading and all these things. So they might unite. Then the southern states are going to unite, okay? And he keeps on bringing this up because he says by doing this, we'll just having to pay out of our pocket lots more money for our civil list or civilian employees. And he says this is crazy, okay? And then you know what else will come of that. You will have animosity between one area with the other. Chances of war will come up, and it's going to be a catastrophe for the whole area. Even Pennsylvania would have strong inducements to join the Northern League. An active foreign commerce on the basis of her own navigation is her true policy and coincides with the opinions and dispositions of her citizens. The more southern states, from various circumstances, may not think themselves much interested in the encouragement of navigation. They may prefer a system which would give unlimited scope to all nations to be the carriers as well as the purchasers of her commodities. So the northern states will possibly unite together if we go into confederacies. The southern states will probably unite together. But the southern states up to now, they did not have a big they didn't have a big fishing industry, and they didn't have a lot of sea-going ships, okay? So he says from our experience, from what we've seen, the chances are the southern states, okay, they will probably give find ships of any country, wherever country that they can find, that they bring cargo to their ports and also take their cargoes out. So they're just going to go with what's best for them rather than what's best for the whole union. This way they can deal with a lot of countries, have business with a lot of countries. They may prefer a system which would give unlimited scope to all nations to be the carriers as well as the purchasers of their commodities. Pennsylvania may not choose to confound her interest in a connection so adverse to our policy, as she must at all events be a frontier. She may deem it most consistent with her safety to have her exposed side turned towards the weaker power of the Southerns rather than towards the stronger power of the Northern Confederacy. And he says in this case, Pennsylvania being right there in the middle, okay, that's Pennsylvania right there, they're not going to be able to figure out whether they need to attach themselves to the northern states or go with the southern states. This is going to be really crazy for them because they will have a large frontier area. This area of their flank, he says, this area of their side will be exposed to attacks from the Native Americans. So he says they won't know where their loyalty will lay, who they're going to support, the North or the South. Okay, I will continue in the next video.